we will discuss about the dispersal of seed. Dispersal of seed helps the plant to scatter away their seeds. So I told you that a plant can produce large number of seeds. If all seeds are growing in the same area, what happens? They won't get enough amount of sunlight, water or air. So scattering of the seeds is an important process in the case of plants. Okay, so what is dispersal of seed? That means scattering of the seeds away from the mother plant. That is known as dispersal of seed. And we know that plants are immovable, right? They cannot move because so they cannot disperse their seed by themselves. So for these plants, nature have provided a lots of other methods like wind, water and animals helps these plants to scatter away their seeds. So these are called agents of dispersal. So seeds of plants get dispersed from one place to another through these agents of dispersal. Discuss more about the dispersal agents. Okay, so first we will discuss about the dispersal by the wind. So if a seed need to be dispersed through the wind, what would be the features of that seed? So the seed will be light weighted, or the seeds may have hairs or wings. So examples are madar and hiptage. Here you can see the pictures of madar and hiptage, right? So when the wind blows, it can easily carried away from the mother plant because of the presence of the special features like hair or wing. And also these seeds will be very lightweight. Okay, the seeds will be of very lightweight.
Let us discuss what is seed dispersal by wind. So wind seeds that are small in size and light in weight are dispersed by wind. Cotton, madar and dandelion seeds are dispersed by wind. They have fine, long hair around them, so they are easily carried away by the wind.
And dispersal by water. Lotus, and when we are taking examples like lotus and coconut, lotus has spongy part, whereas this coconut has thick fibrous coat which helps them to float on the water.
Now let us discuss about dispersal by water. Seeds of plants growing in water or near water bodies are dispersed by water. These seeds are light in weight and are able to float in water. The spongy fruit of lotus and fibrous outer covering of coconut make them light. This helps a seed float on water and move long distances.
Some animals, including humans, when they eat the fruits like mango and watermelon, what happens? They will throw away the seeds after eating the fruits, right? So it's a kind of dispersal of seed. And examples like burdock, spear grass, tiger nail, etc. has some special features like spines or hooks. So these spines or hooks helps them to attach onto the surface of clothes of humans or to the surface of animal's body. So it will be carried away to other places and the seeds will grow into a new plants.
Now we will discuss about the seed dispersal by animals. Many fruits and seeds are spread by animals, birds and humans. Humans and animals eat fruits and throw away their seeds. These grow into a new plant. Squirrels collect nuts and bury them. When the conditions become favorable, these nuts grow into a new plants. Birds eat fruits. Sometimes the seeds come out in their dropping undigested. Some seeds get stuck to their beaks while eating fruits. When they rub their beaks, the seeds fall down and later on grow into new plants.
And dispersal by explosion. It's another method for dispersal of seed. So I told you that the plants are immovable, right? So this method helping these plants to disperse their seed into other places. So dispersal by explosion, that means when the fruit bursts open by this pressure, what happens? The seeds will scatter away. Okay, so that is the dispersal by the explosion. Examples: poppy, pea, etc. Seeds are dispersed by this method. So I told you that in the beginning of chapter that all plants are not growing from the seeds. Okay, so some plants are not able to produce the seeds. Then how they are produced? Then how these plants are grown? So let us discuss. Okay, so this process is called vegetative propagation. So that means any of the vegetative part. It can be a stem, it can be a root, or it can be a leaf. So these vegetative parts of a plant is used for making an another new plant. Making a new plant. So that is known as vegetative. New plants can be grown from vegetative parts like leaf, root, stem. So the process of growing new plants from the vegetative parts is known as vegetative propagation. New plants can be grown from the roots. Examples, we can say that carrot, dahlia, beetroot, sweet potato, etc. New plants can be grown from underground stems. An example, we can say that ginger, potato, onion, etc. Example for underground stem. Okay. So, in the case of ginger and potato, they has a bulb-like structure which is called buds. So, that is called buds. And in the case of potato, the buds are called eye. So, any piece of potato with an eye can grow into a new plant. Okay, and in the case of stem, so lots of plants are growing from their stem, using the stems, a piece of stem. Okay, so examples like roses, hibiscus, money plant, etc. are grown from their piece of stems. So that piece of stem is known as stem cuttings. So these stem cuttings can be grown into a new plant. And new plants can be grown from the leaves. Example is bryophyllum. So bryophyllum is a leafy plant. So in their leaves, we can see on the margins buds are present. Okay. So when these leaves kept in moist soil from the buds, they can produce new plants. New plants can be grown from spores. Okay, that means plants like fern and mosses is an example for this type of vegetative propagation. That means the spores, which are very tiny in structure, and they have the ability to produce they have the ability to grow into a new plant. In the case of fern, they has a specialized structure to store these spores called a sorry. Now we will discuss about the agriculture. Okay, so that's the last session in your textbook. So agriculture. So in our daily life, we eat different kind of food, meat, egg, then we use different kind of dress, right? So this all we get from plants and animals. So agriculture means it is the mass production of plants and animals for food and other purposes is called agriculture. So what is agriculture? The mass production of plants and animals for food and other purposes is called agriculture. So now we will discuss various steps involved in the agriculture of so the steps involved in the agriculture of plant is that, or the cultivation of plant is that, ploughing, manuring, sowing of seed, irrigation, spraying pesticides and harvesting. So here you need to learn 6 steps in the cultivation of plants. This ploughing, manure, adding of manure, then sowing seed, then irrigation, then spraying of insecticides. The last one is harvesting. So what is ploughing? So ploughing, here you can see that a farmer is ploughing the field, right? That means he is loosening the soil. Why he is loosening the soil? Because you know that seeds need sufficient amount of air, water and warmth, right? So while loosening the soil get aerated. So it will be good for the growth of seeds. The next step is manuring. So what is manuring? Adding of fertilizers. Okay. So it will helps to get enough amount of nutrients in the soil. So it will helps to grow the seeds. Okay. Then third step is sowing the seed. So after ploughing and manuring, we need to sow the seeds in the soil. The next step is irrigation. Irrigation, here you can see that watering the field, right? So it improves the quality as well as it helps in the growth of plants. And the next step is spraying insecticide or spraying pesticides. So why we are adding pesticides? Because we know that there are some insects which attack the crops, right? So we should remove these pests. So for that we are spraying the pesticides. The last step is harvesting. So when the crop is ready to use, it is cut and gathered. It is cut and gathered. That is harvesting. So what are the 6 steps that we have studied? One is ploughing. Second one is adding manure. Third one is sowing seed. Fourth one is irrigation. Fifth one is spraying pesticide. Sixth one is harvest. So we had discussed about agriculture, right? So I told you that this is the mass production of plants and animals. So what is a crop? Crop means plants of same kind cultivated on a large scale at a particular place during a particular time. That is known as crop.
The soil of a particular place and the season affect the growth and development of crops. So let us see how it is. Okay, so first we will discuss about the soil. So here you can see a table showing which and all soil are needed for different crops. Okay, so first you can see that rice and jute needed loamy and clay soil because they can hold plenty of water. And then you can see wheat which need alluvial soil because it is rich in humus. Also maize plant needs alluvial soil to grow. Then cotton plants need black soil. The cotton plants grow best in the black soil. Then tea plants need moist soil. Like in the regions like Assam, Darjeeling, Nilgiris, like that, the tea plants need moist soil. The coconut trees that grow well in coastal area having sandy soil. So which and all soil we had discussed? We had discussed about the loamy and clay soil, black soil, alluvial soil, moist soil and sandy soil. Now let us discuss about the seasons. A particular crop may grow well in one season and may not grow that well in another season. So different crops are grown in different seasons. So let us find out which are those seasons. So crops that are grown from June to October are called Kharif crops. And crops that are grown from November to April are called Rabi crops. So crops that are grown from June to October, that is in summer season, are called Kharif crops. Examples like rice, maize and cotton. And crops that are grown from November to April, that is in winter season, are called Rabi crop. Examples like wheat and pea are Rabi crops.
Is how we can protect the crops. So there are three methods for the protection of crops. Let us discuss that three methods.
Grazing animals, birds, insects, squirrels, moles, and pests like locusts, caterpillars, and grasshoppers damages the crop. Various plant diseases also affect the crops. So crops need protection from them before and after harvesting. So first method they use to protect the crops is that farmers spray various pesticides and insecticides to protect crops from insect and other harmful pests. They protect the crops from grazing animals by proper fencing. That's the second method. And the third method is scarecrows are kept in the crop field to scare away birds. Grains and seeds should be stored properly after harvesting the crops.
So that's all about the chapter. So what we had discussed? We had discussed about seeds, germination, dispersal of seed, and we had discussed about agriculture. We discussed about vegetative propagation. We discussed what are the type of soil that required by each type of crop, and we had discussed about how we can protect the crop plants.